and welcome to Albion Online. This is a rather new sandbox MMO currently in summer alpha, heading towards beta soon and possible release near the end of the year. Now, I'll be forthright right now and say this game is not fun, but goddamn, I am enthralled. It's a game that has the whole economy principle, crafting, buying what you need, degradable gear, full loot PvP, so there's a lot of item loss there, and you do need crafters to back you up. There's also an extremely extensive crafting system where at the start, go jack of all trades, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the further you go, the more you're going to need to just focus on a particular niche, craft something and craft it well, and then you'll be able to sell it well. And after you're selling it well, then you can buy your own different sets that you might need that you can't craft, or your guild can't craft, all that sort of stuff. So I'll check you out the Destiny board. This little bottom part, it basically tells you what you're progressing at the moment, what you're crafting or killing, or what aspect of your character is growing. And once you get to one stage, it goes to the next, and then the next, and the next. And it becomes this really, really, I want to say in-depth, but more, I say grindy progression system. I'll show you. Now this is the Destiny board. It is rather big, as you can see. And as you can see, the inner circle, pretty easy to get to. That's your beginning levels. That's, tier 2, tier 3 stuff. Get there really easily, not too much. But once you get to there, that is when you're going to need to start focusing. So as you can see on a few things I'm focusing on is throwing knives, because they're pretty awesome. Throwing stabby things at people. Oops. And I've been refining certain things, so refining leather and wood, and I'm up to that stage. Crafting tools and using tools. And this is like my, your offensive and defensive capabilities, your military aspect. So I went down the ranger path at first, and then obviously went into throwing knives and using leather. And as you can see, you get to the next step, and the next step you can use better armor and better weapons, and obviously take on more of the, more advanced content. You can gather more of the advanced materials, that sort of stuff. But from what I've seen, if you do want to just craft or just gather, you can do that. You actually don't even need a guild to help you in that aspect, but of course that is helpful. Once you get a stable income, you can pretty much buy what you need and then sell your own thing for, more money, and you progressively make income that way. I've gone into quite a few trades, so I am broke. And this long one here, that's your overall character progression. As you see, there's 5 stages, 6 stages, whatever. A few tutorial things, and then you get into the big leagues. And I'm nearly up to that one now. And frankly, I've been playing this rather casually because it is alpha. All this grind is going to be meaningless. And let me tell you, I have grinded a lot. So there we go. Let's get out of that. And I'll show you the maps. Right now, in the game, all the marketplaces, like this, where I'm selling some stuff, is all pretty much, that's what I'm selling, at the moment anyway, is all pretty much, region-based, town-based. So what one marketplace has isn't going to be what another marketplace has. And I found that you can flip resources and materials and items quite easily. There is a quick sort of pathing to other towns via a little travel planner, get on the coach. But that does cost you money, and depending on how far you want to go is how much money that's going to cost you, and even how much you're carrying too. So if you want to get into the trading business and you're carrying huge amounts of resources, then you might want to take that into account. I'll bring up the map. Now right now the map is pretty big, but this is an alpha, so we don't have, I wouldn't say as many people. even though it is this big, I have seen, quite a bit of competition over resources, especially in these safe zones. All these green areas, oops, let's go back. All these green areas are the safe areas. And you can pretty much find up to tier 4 goods and materials and monsters in this area. And those can be very, very contested. And if it's contested, you're not going to be able to earn as much off them, which can be a bit of a pain. Luckily, I'm in an Aussie time zone, so it's a bit easier. But if you're American, you will have to fight others. If you do want to venture, we've got the PvP zones. So all these little brownie ones, they're PvP limited, which means someone has to flag up to actually attack you. But there's a lot less competition to get resources in those areas. And they can't steal your stuff either. And then you've got the... well, let's have a look. The full PvP zones. Oh, I did something bad. These are the red ones. They are attack anywhere and take everything zones. And that will be where a lot of your end game resources will be. So you will be fighting over those in the end. At the moment, it's alpha and you get a month to play, so there's only a few guilds and groups actually in those zones so far. I am not that big. But eventually, maybe. But yeah, I've been a very bad casual Care Bear in this game so far. Just sticking to the safe zones, crafting and progressing in that aspect. And I do have a guild now, so probably stepping into the PvP soon. But at the moment, just building my character and building enough resources there, so if I do lose something, it's not a big deal. I can just craft it again and keep going. And I have a horsey. Horsies are amazing. Now, I'll show you a little bit of the crafting as well. There's a lot of refining places. So you'll see, blacksmiths refining, wood. And as you see, it has like this tier principle. So, you need tier 1 to craft tier 2. You need tier 2 to craft tier 3. And then tier 4, obviously. And then once you get to 4, it kind of splits out a little bit more where you have uncommon and rare materials. And that will be primarily for your weapons. The weapons go, up in those tier progresses. And they do gain more damage and that sort of stuff. And that's where I'm not so sure how this game is eventually going to go, because there's quite a strong horizontal progression element there because of the tier system. It's a lot of grind to get up there, a lot of time, a lot of grind. And your casual or, not completely hardcore player will have a hard time catching up. Sure, that gear grind does eventually end, but it's going to be a long slog for those people trying to compete with those that have the better gear and obviously can mine and gather the better resources because they have more money. They can, shrug off any losses quite simply. And like my guild, they'll probably own, a little bit of the town as well. So you own that, and we own a few crafting stalls. And so they earn more money that way. And it becomes an insurmountable gap there. And right now, this isn't a solo game per se. You can, but it's much better to be in a group, in a guild, because while yes, you can trade and craft efficiently enough, it's much better to have a guild there so you can each focus on your certain things, each focus on a role, progress that element first and do it well. So you end up with a rather complete character for not as much work. And that's important. So these are the maps once you get out of the cities. And as you can see, they're reasonably large, and depending on how far you go away from the starter zones, which isn't that city, that's one of the main cities, where they drop you off, where the boats go, depends on what sort of resources will be available. So right now, you've got a few tier 2 resources here to gather. But the further you go, the better that gets. And I'll go to a where I'm farming mostly at the moment. And just show you a little bit of the combat as well. Now, one thing I do like about this is just the simple exploration. It's finding where those resources spawn, making that an account, and keeping, regular journeys there. I like the routine of it. It's enjoyable, and I don't know, I kind of like being out of the whole quest grind. I hate that back and forth, quest hub gameplay. It is so not me. And while this is insanely more grindy than your average theme park, it's more in a sense where you get to progress and, I guess, do the activities that you want to do when you want to do them. So if I want to go out and do some combat today, I can do that. I can go fight the hell monsters with the guild, or I can just spend an entire day crafting if I want, or gathering, or just randomly progressing my character, and I like that about it. Go away, doggy. Woof woof. Oh, someone's already been through here. Everybody's dead. Hello. There we go. As you can see, you've got 3 little abilities, and all these abilities basically correspond to your gear. Your weapon will give you 3, and at the moment my main hand will do 2, offhand 1, and your armor will as well give you a few abilities. So depending on what you pick is what your abilities will be. And a good part about it is there's a lot of customization there. There's in each gear type, in each weapon, there's a few skills you're allowed to choose from, and the ones that obviously craft can pick that for you. And even then, the further you go up the system, the more options open up with what weapons are available to you. At the start, there's only 3 weapons, and then you steadily grow to like 15, and then 30, or I forgot what the actual number is now, but it's a lot. So the further you go, the more options become available, and I like that. And the good thing is, when each time it branches out, you get access to all of those skills, and then from then on, you have to progress down that path. So it opens up a lot of paths from time to time, and you're just kind of picking and choosing what you want to do. And as for the combat, I would say it's serviceable. It's attack a mob, press some buttons, and they die. Oh, I missed it. The only thing, there's little channel times that you can probably see just then that I missed. And you usually can find interrupt skills. On the Aussie ping, that's a bit funny, and you've got to be really on the ball with that. But it's there, and that adds just a certain amount of, I don't want to say skill per se, but twitch aspect to the combat. But it's funny where, like, in a game where there is grind and you are doing the same actions over again, I kind of like the simplified manner it is, and now it doesn't take your complete, attention or concentration. It just minimal amount of focus, minimal amount of effort, and you're getting by. And when you're doing the same action over and over and over again, it's kind of nice. Like, I've gone for, a tanky survival kind of character at the moment, so I can just sit back, minimize my character when it's attacking something, and watch some anime or the latest TV show that I'm into. And I don't know, that's kind of cool. I like that sort of grind. And that might not be everybody. Some people might want to be completely and thoroughly engaged in the combat in every single second, like Wildstar, but it's kind of nice to just sit back and take the minimal approach to combat. So yeah, at the moment you can find little monster camps around the place, and these are pretty good for basically your silver farming, or as you can see, all my leather gear has started progressing up because I'm getting into combat. Thank you. Showing on in combat, gaining experience for it, and progressing my character that way. And as you can see, it barely even moved that far, so I'm going to have to do a lot of work to get to the next tier of armor and that sort of stuff right now. And one funny thing about this too is the longer these people are left alone, the longer resources are left alone, the more they actually contain. So you'll get trees and they'll start off with only 2 resources there, but the longer they're left alone, the greater that number goes up, so you can farm more efficiently. And that's the whole competition aspect to the, the world design. The more out of reach places in the PvP zones, those resources might be full. You'll get more silver. See, that wasn't very much there. Damn rabbits. Oh, Meiji. No, no, no. No, no. Oh, I'm in trouble. Alright, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. That's close. So yeah, I have a part of the leather gear is the stealth. Run, run. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. There we go, we survived. So yeah, some of them do little AoE effects too, and the PvP does get a lot more complicated with, knowing what skills to avoid, what skills to interrupt, what skills to maybe, raise your shield, get a little passive protection. And you've also got, your food that you can do out of combat. A potion, which is usually a healing potion, but I don't have any left. And that's it. One important part to talk about is probably death. Now, in your average MMO, that will mean practically nothing to you, but here, you will fear death. Like, seriously fear death. Death is dangerous. Death is not good. Because whenever you die, everything in your inventory takes a 25% hit to durability. And even if you're carrying some resources, you will lose 25% of those. So it's not good. And sometimes there's quite a bit of RNG to what items may be hit a little bit harder. So you could end up losing, your 5,000 silver axe or your $20,000, $10,000 horse, and that shit sucks, let me tell you. Come on. So I like my Takey character. It's a nice little grinding class. And I'm definitely a grinding kind of person. Anyway, that's an overview so far. I might have a few more videos to come of, action in Albion Online, and I'll see you later. Thanks.